Hello everyone and welcome to GoT Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm Alexandra August.
I'm Johnny Kolosinski.
And we're back.
Yeah, it's been almost as long as the wait for Winds of Winter.
Almost. It hasn't been 4 years.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take. Did we even podcast at Comic-Con this year? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did. No, we recorded one.
Oh, I drink a lot of tequila at Comic-Con too.
Yeah, there was that.
There was that. Yeah, so we're actually back ahead of season 8. We're probably going to do a sprinkling a few more episodes before our actual in earnest recap podcasting of season 8. If you are also a Star Trek fan, you know that we've been using this feed to download to also post our Star Trek Discovery podcast, which is taking up the bulk of our time right now. But in case you missed it, Game of Thrones finally dropped a season 8 trailer on us.
And it
was pretty good. So we're going to do a little breakdown of that trailer. And Johnny and I have some thoughts about what that trailer is going to tell us about season 8.
Yeah. We're not going to recap the trailer for you. It's 2 minutes long.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Too.
If not, you can right now. It'll take 2 minutes.
Yeah, pause this and watch it, or else I don't know why you're listening to this.
Shoot. Okay, let me pause.
Johnny.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so a lot of the shots we got were of what looked like... Oh, also, actually, you can find this podcast at GoT Thrones PCast on Twitter.
Yeah, you can find us online, gotthrones.com, facebook.com/gotthrones, and wherever fine podcasts are sold.
And you can find me at ALXAugust on Twitter and most social media handles.
You can find me at Cycloptico, CYCLOPTAIKO.
Now that we're all grounded in reality, let's get back to fantasy.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you for episode 1.
So, a lot of this trailer was mostly localized. All the stuff that we got in the north appears to be from the Battle of Winterfell, which if you've been... Oh, by the way, we're going to speculate, but I have read, and Johnny has read a lot of the press surrounding this season. So if you are trying to remain super spoiler-free and just pure as the driven snow, then I would stop listening now.
Not for you.
Not for you. Turn back now. Make haste.
And obviously spoilers for anything that's been aired, anything that's been written, and anything in r/free folk.
Basically, yeah. So now that we've said that, if you aren't aware, the big Battle of Winterfell is supposed to be the longest, will be the longest ever filmed battle sequence ever, not just for television, in movie and TV history. It's, I believe the sequence at the battle sequence in Return of the King, is the longest thus far, and I think it clocks in at 40 minutes. This is supposed to be longer.
How does that beat Dunkirk? Dunkirk is a battle sequence.
I mean, I don't know about the little guys in the boats. If like the father-son duo in the boats as they're getting on is technically part of like active combat.
I think that they're overhyped. I think they're hyping something that needs no hype.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be gigundous.
Well, it is Miguel Sapochnik who did Battle of the Bastards, so the fact that they're saying this is the longest one ever filmed says to me I'm going to get another Battle of the Bastards, but longer and with more recognizable characters.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. Because I don't know if you guys heard, but I really like that episode.
Have you hit 1,000 viewings yet?
No, I'm approaching it.
I should really watch that one.
It's been my drunktivity of choice for the past like 2 years. I get a certain amount of white wine or tequila in me, and I'm like, oh, my reign has just begun. Crank it up. I'm already letting my excitement get the better of me, and we're already off topic. And
So Battle of Winterfell is going to be gigantic.
Yeah, and a lot of the footage from the trailer focuses on the Battle of Winterfell,
or the lead up to the Battle of Winterfell.
Yes, that's true. The only other stuff we get in King's Land, is the Golden Company arriving on Euron's ships somewhere. We presume King's Landing. We also get an exterior shot of Cersei kind of happily looking at what I'm guessing is the arrival of the Golden Company. And then a few more very lonely shots of Cersei as she hangs out in the castle, realizing that nobody gives a shit about her at this particular point in time.
I really liked in Jon's dialogue of "they're coming, our enemy doesn't tire, doesn't stop, doesn't feel," obviously talking about the White Walkers, but Let's cut to Cersei.
Was that the one where she was drinking a glass of wine too?
Yeah, that might have been my highlight.
That's addiction, folks. It's addiction. Doesn't stop, doesn't tire.
What if the whole show's a metaphor?
What if? I mean, I thought it was climate change, but it could be alcoholism.
Yeah.
So I think some of our big takeaways. The first one I want to get to is what the trailer opens with, which is a shot of a terrified, out of breath Arya running through the halls. Bloodied. Yeah, she's wounded. She's clearly seen combat. And she's running through Winterfell. Mm-hmm. And Johnny brought up an excellent point. What is she running from?
Yeah. What would have Arya that scared? Is she that scared, or is she? I mean, you wouldn't plant a ruse for the White Walkers.
No. And which I think that there's a lot of implications for that. And I think the fact that she's inside Winterfell and she's running scared means, A, there could be some last-ditch magical thing she can do in the crypts. We got a lot of shots. We got a lot of shots of the crypts in the trailer, and I think that whatever the connection is between the Starks and the White Walkers and the Starks and the First Men and the First Long Night and Winterfell and how old it is and how there's this sort of air of mysticism around it. The books hit this, there must always be a Stark in Winterfell type thing. They hit the sort of spiritual nature of Winterfell more than the show does, but I do think that we're going to get some of that in the show. Mm-hmm. And I feel like one of those options could be that John's like, go flip the switch in the crypts or something,
to the Batcave.
Exactly. So
to the Mound Cave.
Yeah. So, or maybe maybe she's running. I think Gendry's got a forge in Winterfell. We got a shot of Joe Dempsey looking extremely fine, forging some dragon glass, I presume. So it may be that she's running to get more weapons.
But it was very running from, not running to.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like that's the other option, or she's being chased. And she's being chased by what? And if she's being chased by whites, they had to get through an army of Unsullied, an army of Dothraki, and an army of men before they got inside to Winterfell. And if you take a minute and think about the implications of that and who that means it won't survive this, or the chances are good they won't survive this. That includes Grey Worm, Jorah Mormont. I say less Brienne and Pod because we see Brienne and Pod on the front lines in one of those shots, but I'm also pretty sure Brienne winds up on the battlements slaying some whites at a later point. Like, I think that we're getting two parts of the battle, and like the pre-battle sort of when it's nightfall and everybody's kind of riding around preparing, and then the later sequence of the battle, which is when Winterfell is burning. Goes down. Yeah, when Winterfell is burning, it appears. So everything's backlit by fire. That's exactly when things are going poorly. And there's a shot of Brienne on battlements. I believe it's Brienne. She's backlit, but it just looks like her movements. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel like any of the White Walkers getting inside Winterfell means anybody on the front lines is going to be cut down.
Yeah. Or many.
Yeah, maybe it may be that they cut a swath. Oh, and and the Knights of the Vale are there as well.
Oh, yeah.
So there are a lot of very highly people with a very specific set of skills.
But they also have a tendency to come back from the dead and kill their buddies.
Shit, that's right. I forgot about that. I've been covering The Walking Dead, and The Walking Dead, you get like at least 30 minutes. Or so, depending on the episode. And how long they decide it takes to turn. But you get some time, whereas on Game of Thrones, when somebody dies, it literally is at the command of the White Walkers, either the Night's King or a White Walker, to bring them back. So, I don't know if they're going to play by hard and fast by the hard home rules, but at this point, I'm assuming
it wouldn't make sense not to, unless they can't do it because they're beyond the wall.
That's an interesting point. I don't know if they're going to get I like that idea. I don't know that they're going to get that nitty gritty with the magic. Yeah. That seems a little technical with something that they haven't really explored too fully, but could be a possibility. I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to?
Not specifically know.
This is what leads me to believe that I think Arya might not make it. This episode, she's my money is on Arya to be somebody who is our beloved, like just a beloved character who doesn't make it out, who is the bitter of the bittersweet ending everybody is telling us.
How much do you think George really likes Paris? Because his wife Paris has said, "If Arya dies, I'm leaving you."
Well, George did not write this season.
There is that.
We know that George gave David and Dan, Benioff and Weiss some big tentpole points. We know that everything that happens with Hodor in the door was told to them, was conveyed to them by George, and so we can expect something similar to that in the books. But I have not heard anything else. Heard anything else confirmed that we've seen on the show is what George told David and Dan in that hotel room in Santa Fe long ago.
Yeah.
But I say that Johnny and I were just discussing, Entertainment Weekly did a pretty elongated feature on the filming of the Battle of Winterfell, and Maisie Williams was interviewed for it by James Hibbard, and she said, "Oh yeah, it's like Arya actually gets to see combat, which is great because she's the one who's been training this entire time." And it just made me think of how in love with woman warriors Arya is, and how much she loved the legend of Nymeria, and how much she loved, Visenya, or Aegon's sisters, Visenya and the others whom I can't name. She loves these incredible women, and a fitting and very legendary mythical end for Arya would be for her to play a crucial role in this battle, but not live to see the end of it. And I feel like at the very least, if that's not what we see, I think we all need to emotionally prepare ourselves for this kind of tragedy.
It's good that you're there preparing the audience.
It's just still gonna suck. Like, I hope I'm wrong. I feel like she's just a prime candidate for this kind of thing. And as is Grey Worm. I fully expect Grey Worm for this to be Grey Worm's last stand.
Or Missandei.
Yep, or Missandei.
Or one or the other.
Or Missandei pulls one out of her hat and saves Grey Worm in some capacity. I would be fine with that. I would think it's a little silly and sentimental, but I wouldn't be mad at it.
And then they hop on a motorcycle.
Yeah. Grey Worm pulls some sunglasses out of his helmet. It's like San Junipero all over again. And that's
what if it turns out this is just an episode of Black Mirror?
Dude, that's a mashup. That's a universe blend I can get behind. 100%.
I'm down.
So something else we didn't address. I do want to, so Jon and Dany, it appear, it's not just all the Battle of Winterfell, pardon me. There are shots of Drogon and Viserion going north, and of Jon and Dany 90% certain they're north of the wall.
They're not walking up to the dragons to give scratches.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I was saying that because they're in a snowy area. I'm guessing that they're not just in the north and it's snowing. I feel like they take the dragons at some point to go over the wall for a reason. Kind of curious as to why. I don't know if you have had any theories about why Jon and Dany might take an expedition. I feel unless it's date night, which is also fine.
Just nice to get away from the kids.
We just need a night to ourselves.
Yeah.
Gotta reconnect as a couple.
And as a family. Gross. Just gotta get away from Tyrion.
It's so interesting to me.
Tyrion.
I was talking to one of my editors today on Skype, on Slack, and he reminded me just how weird and icky it was that not only is Tyrion watching as that door closes, knowing exactly what's going on, Bran is voiceovering, telling us again, "Hey, Jon, this is just R plus L equals J. He's not Jon Snow. He's Jon Targaryen." As Jon is having sex with his aunt.
Yeah.
It's like, boy, you guys painted that with a brush. I really don't know how to feel about it now. It's romantic, but uncomfortable. Anyway.
Yeah, should have made those Targaryen family reunion shirts.
Really? Oh man. So what shirt does John
3 years
wear?
ago.
So yeah, what do you think why do you think they're north of the wall?
I don't think they're north of the wall.
You don't? Okay,
I
that's
don't.
interesting. I'm totally
No.
convinced they are. Tell me.
Nope. I just don't. I think they are getting ready to mount their steeds after having mounted their steeds to go into battle. I think it's just whether it's in the Godswood or just snowy spot.
Okay. The thing about North of the Wall that made me think North of the Wall was the shot we get of the dragons flying over the mountainous region. That looked very North of the Wall to me.
Oh, okay.
That was why, but I wouldn't be mad at that sort of being a tease and then just them just sort of.
No, that makes sense, and I didn't think about the mountains.
The only thing I was thinking was that I think it was pretty pointed, almost way too obviously, so that Beric was like, "What if we kill and Beyond the Wall? What if we kill the Night King? If we kill him, they'll all die." And I have to wonder if Jon and Dany are like, "What if we just take care of this thing real quick?
Just go kill the head vampire?
What if we just knock him off? We got 2 dragons. He only has 1. I got him. You take the other one." Because I thought it was also curious that we did not see Dany in any of the shots for the Battle of Winterfell, and Jon is only in 1.
That's... Have we seen Dany lead the Dothraki, actually leading the Dothraki or the Unsullied into battle, as opposed to commanding from?
No, and that's kind of what I wonder, if they're like, that's too. I feel like Jon is sort of the person to do that. I feel like, though, why wouldn't you use the dragons if you have them? Like, yeah, they're in danger, but I feel like, wouldn't she be like, okay, I'm going to lay some ground cover and try to avoid those nasty spears?
To address what you addressed in the show notes, so as to give you full credits, I think it's because they didn't want to push out any dragon battle shots.
True. Yeah, something I put
too sexy.
Yeah, that like one of the possible reasons that we don't see Dany is not that she's not there, is that they don't want to spoil the epically awesome dragon shots of Daenerys just raining terror on the whites, or accidentally Winterfell, because apparently at some point Winterfell catches fire, and I have to believe that wasn't on purpose,
or it was.
Well, as also, would Viserion's blue flame burn blue?
It did on the wall.
Okay. Or did it just...
But the wall's magic.
True. I don't know enough about this particular brand of physics to answer.
Just it makes me think of the Simpsons quote. You can tell by the blue of the flame that was an especially sweet donut.
Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. There's a couple of more bits and pieces that were cool. Like, I guess we see the shot of Varys and everybody we see the shot of Varys kind of appropriately with the women and children in the crypts, and the statue, the crypt that they're standing in front of is Robb's. Like, the statue is Robb's. It's yeah, somebody else, Hannah Shaw Williams, who's another writer for Screen Rant, caught that. It's blurry, and like, because we were all just like, on Tuesday morning, I woke up and checked my Slack, and my editor was like, "This is not a drill." Literally, a direct quote. We were all sitting there like on slow-mo on YouTube trying to brighten everything because it was so dark, and she was like, "Oh, I think it's Robb's statue because he's got a big direwolf next to him," which was kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, I thought so. But the only other thing I guess I wanted to mention is that I'm wondering how trustworthy Bran is at this point, because
we feel like because he got groped by the Night King.
Only in the sense that I feel like Bran no longer has a dog in this race. Like, Bran does not have any real
Summer.
Totally unintentional. I'm so sad about Summer, but yeah, I was just thinking about some kind of internal treachery, and it just strikes me as kind of interesting that Bran doesn't really have any more Stark family loyalty. He's not in this for his family anymore, and I wonder if he's not willing to sacrifice a lot of his family in order to stop the Night King. And that's when I say, like, how trustworthy is he? I don't know that he wouldn't he wouldn't just puppeteer people behind the scenes.
Needs of the many.
Yeah, outweigh the needs of the few, and act as a puppeteer behind the scenes to manipulate the situation so he ensures the Night King's defeat regardless of whom he has to sacrifice.
If that's the case, I just want to Tyrion and Jon, you are and always have been my friend, death scene.
I'm into it. We only got one shot at Tyrion as well. Maybe Tyrion rides a dragon. Boom. Everyone's talking about Jon riding a dragon. I don't care about Jon riding a dragon. Jon has done many cool things.
Steals a dragon.
Oh.
Grey Worm and Missandei, and they all go to Mexico.
All head to Sodrios.
Yeah.
Sip coconut water. All right. I think we're good. I think we nailed that trailer.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Calling it here.
Okay, folks. Feel free to send us your questions, comments, concerns at gothronespodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear your thoughts about any of the wackadoo theories we just proposed based on 90 seconds of footage.
120 seconds.
Sorry.
We covered this.
Johnny hadn't watched it yet, so I had to tell him. I was like, don't worry, it's only 90 seconds. And
She was wrong. She lied.
I'm very manipulative. I'm
All
the
right,
three-eyed
folks.
raven.
So you'll hear more from us in the next few weeks, and if you're watching Star Trek Discovery, you'll hear more from us in the next few hours.
Yeah, like tomorrow. It's gonna be
Yep.
great. Bye,
Thanks, folks.